how you doing? This is John, and I'm driving. And I don't like driving for obvious reasons. This is the first time I'm driving for more than 5 minutes, 5 miles since my accident almost a year ago. So I thought I would do a stream, see if anybody wants to pop in, and open invites in the chat. Just talk, keep me focused. Yeah, I'm being a wolf. Don't like driving anymore. So, how you guys doing? I'm going to Graham Nolan's cigar party. Should be there in about an hour. I guess I got to keep my glasses on to read the chat. But I don't normally need my glasses while I'm so I see people watching and want to pop in. This is on my phone, so it's different. So if you're in the back room waiting, put a message in the chat. So I'm actually have to flick screens to let you on. It's just a casual conversation. Keep a jackass focused while driving. I asked a bunch of people to come with me. My friend Jen, her mother died, so she ain't going anywhere. Jesse Blaze is going to California. He left last night. My normie friends are just not interested. Stay out all night talking to comic book nerds. No thanks. So there you go. Got my coffee. Got some food. Whenever I drive, I like snacks. Comment in the chat. Let me know if you can actually see this, if you can actually hear this. If you're in the back room and want to pop in, let me know, because I have to switch screens. So I don't know what else to say. Okay. I'll put this in the chat once again. If anybody wants to pop in. This is me just driving. Dark. Can you hear me? Can anybody see? Tommy, can you hear me? Tommy, can you see me? If nothing happens in 10 minutes, I'll just turn this off. Listen to punk rock. Yep, don't text and drive. That's why I'm doing this. I would like you to pop in and talk to me. I'd rather you come in so I can hear you, so I'm not constantly glancing at the chat. I can't even see who wrote that. StreamYard yesterday, on Friday, I turned on StreamYard, and the way the messages are displayed is really weird. Like, you have your name, and then it says @ with your, Twitter address. So it doesn't have your name anymore. It has, @ your Twitter address. So I'm not seeing who they are. Like a lot of people, I'm like, who is this? Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on the road. So somebody's saying something and I can't tell who it is because I'm not looking. That's why I'd like you to pop into you just hit the button and then we can have a conversation and you can read the chat while I concentrate on driving. So again, if nobody wants to come in, I'll turn this off in a couple of minutes. I'm on the Long Island Expressway, otherwise known as the world's longest parking lot. I used to drive like a maniac, man. I would drive like 110, weaving in and out of traffic like I was Mario Andretti. Now I drive like a little old lady from Pasadena, I guess is a bad example. Now I drive like a little church lady, I'm going the speed limit. I'm not changing lanes. I'm in no hurry to go anywhere. Somebody says they can come in. I can't read it. But yeah, come on in. Let me know if you're in the back room. I never did this on my phone before. I'm always doing this from my home computer or my desktop or whatever it's called, the laptop. So this is an experiment. A few people do driving videos. Like Crenshaw notably does driving videos, and I'm like, why does he do this? But I think he lives in Montana. I hope I didn't just dox him. And he has like 2 or 3 hour commutes between jobs. Oh, I see a little red button. Oh, we got somebody. extent of
John, what you doing?
Okay, cool. Now I'm having a conversation. Thank you, RR. Saving
John,
me
you
from down in the
madman.
shred.
What are you doing?
Our party.
Can you hear me?
Uh,
Oh, you're cutting in and out there, mate.
it's roboting out. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you and see you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Keep talking.
There's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, I'm driving. I never did this before, so I don't know how good this is going to work out.
I don't think you
Can you hear
should.
me? Well, it's either
If
listen to
something
radio.
happens
I'm
to
not
you,
engaged in a conversation.
if something happens to you, I am the only Elementals and V&V fan left on the planet.
Yeah, me and you. Me and you. Yeah. I'm driving to Graham Nolan's cigar party. According to this, I have about an hour and 15 minutes left to drive. And I figure talking to somebody will keep me, you know, if I drive by myself, I'll daydream, you know, so.
I can only stay for about 5 minutes, though, unfortunately.
That's fine. That's fine. Like I was saying,
What did you see the new clip of Gunn's Superman?
No, I've been avoiding all the trailers.
Good plan.
The Fantastic Four trailers, the Superman trailers. I decide whether or not I want to watch a movie, and then if I don't want to see the movie, I watch all the trailers because who cares? But the art of trailer making has changed to the point where they give spoilers. You know, it used to just be like a nice tease. You see like an action shot or something exciting, you know, a cool line of dialogue, and you're like, oh, that looks good. But now, like, you almost see like whole scenes. So,
the Superman stuff is off-putting, but the Fantastic Four stuff isn't that bad, actually.
They're both. I'm cautiously. I have low expectations of both movies, but that's as a policy. All superhero movies, I just lower my expectations. That way, I can only be happy. So
I tell you what.
But
I tell you,
wait.
I watched Doctor Strange today.
I'm sorry?
I watched Doctor Strange today, and I have to say it's a very well-made film.
The first one?
First one, yeah, first one.
Yeah, the first one was excellent. Yeah. And it was funny because I told my wife, I was like, we're going to go see this, but I'm sorry in advance, it's going to be terrible. You know, and I freaking loved it.
Yeah, good film.
Because I said there's no way they could do Doctor Strange justice, and they did a good Doctor Strange movie. The same with the first Thor movie. I was like, there's no way they're going to do this, and they did a good Thor movie.
Yeah, they really got the Ditko visuals for the Dark Dimension.
Yep, they did a really good job. But my theory is I'm going to wait like 2, maybe 3 weeks, and then see the movie. Oh, we got somebody else popping in. Who else is here?
It's Arkham, I think.
Who's this?
It's Arkham.
Who's Arkham?
Hey boss, how you doing? You just you said you needed somebody to read. I'm a chatter. I've been here for a while and a huge comic book enthusiast, so I'll just go ahead and read so you drive safe. I don't want you reading while you drive, Ross. I'll read for you. I don't care.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Arkham. I'm sorry, the road noise. What are you saying?
I said I'll read for you, boss.
Okay. Yeah, this is just a way to keep me focused while driving. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I'd rather read for you and make sure you get safe wherever you're going than have you look over and miss a light or something. You know what I mean? I'm just drawing anyway.
Apparently, from printing to painting, 822 is backstage as well.
That's me.
Oh, is it you?
Yes.
You ready to jump on when I go? Because I got to go soon. So
yeah, I'm here.
You have to keep an eye out for John.
Okay.
I
Any
can't.
more?
The screen
me
is
fix
so
my microphone.
tiny that I can't see your face and I can barely hear you. So, have we spoken before? Do I know you?
We've spoken in chat. We've spoken on X quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your name on X?
Arkham Collectibles.
What is it?
I think it's under Arkham Collectibles. Let me check.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know my own handle. It's out of my mind.
Goodness gracious, John. Be careful, mate.
Yep. Yeah. This car is pretty cool because over here I got the maps and over here I got my phone, and over here, so I can glance in here. Every once in a while you're gonna hear the directions pop up. So I'm doxing myself in real time. You'll be able to know exactly where I am.
Are they going to catch you?
But is it metric or imperial measurements?
What's that?
Is it in miles or kilometers? Like, is it
Miles. I'm an American. Miles got
in
us to
400 yards, turn right?
Yeah.
Hey,
13,
John, they asked who the Brit was.
13 more miles, and I think I'm going to. I forget what the name of the highway is. What's the weather down there in New Zealand?
Well, it's winter. Let's have a look. So it's kind of grey, overcast a bit. I need to cut the grass, but the grass is too wet at the moment. It's very squishy. So overcast, cool, but not cold, not freezing.
I got to mow.
How's the weather in New York?
It's been raining for a week or so.
Test.
In June? Gosh, it's not good.
Yeah, Arkham, I can hear you.
You can hear me better now?
A little better, yeah.
Okay.
It's not your fault. It's just that, I'm in a car and I hear the road,
No problem. It might be my mic too. My mic's kind of funky. It's a Yeti, but I've never gotten it to work correctly.
Yeah, I can hear RR really good.
Yeah, I can hear RR coming right through. By the way, RR, somebody in chat asked who you were. If you want to introduce yourself.
I'm just me. I'm nobody special.
Well, tell us, me. Who's me?
Yeah, RR, if there's anything interesting in the chat, read it to me because I can't look.
Well, I was world famous for 7 seconds in 2012 or 13, I think, when the first Hobbit film came out, because I'm in a background shot as an extra.
Yes,
7
Oh,
seconds.
nice.
Yeah. Someone told me to drop that into every conversation I ever have,
Yep.
every time. So
Why not?
I'm putting it in there.
I'm gonna be telling everybody I'm in the beginning of Rock and Roll Ninja 2 somewhere in the crowd. So
Nice. I saw your stream from the other day, John, on your response to somebody, my boy Zach, and now I think you have to have a villain in Heroic Tales called John P. Wood, aka the Cracker.
it's funny to react to everything and put it in the comic book, but the problem with topical stuff is unless you could do it that week, like South Park, timing is everything. So, my comic is just.
Well, I don't know. I think they'll always be crackers, no matter where you go. All right, Arkham, have you seen this? John, I'm going to hold up one of the greatest bits of comic book work ever created, if I can find it.
All right, let's get ready.
Hang on. We're going to get my glasses for a moment. Stand by.
So, Arkham, I take it you're an H.P. Lovecraft fan, or?
Oh yes, major love.
Here it comes.
What's your favorite story?
Oh, probably Horror Red Hook. Oh, Elementals.
Oh,
love it.
Really?
This is the John. This is what John and I first bonded over. This is the collected edition of their first appearance in Justice Machine Annual and the entire Natural Order story. So this is one of my prized possessions.
I loved Elements, and I loved what was it, X Mutant, that came around the same time, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I don't know that. I'll tell you what though, Willingham.
It's the same style of comic.
Willingham put some this a sketch of this page. No colors, just the inks on X yesterday, the day before.
I like
It's
it.
magic. The elementals. John will tell you about elementals, how it started the dark hero, the gritty, realistic comic book craze. Hey, John.
I definitely believe that there's a line between the Elementals to Dark Knight Returns to Watchmen and even to the boys today. It all started with the Elementals. What
Agreed.
I liked about the Elementals is they didn't cross the line. It was still superheroes. And, as much as my comic, I say it's a blue sky, I wanted to have a similar feel as the Elementals. Lighthearted, but there could be elements of extreme seriousness and horror at points, but it'll always pivot back to like family and the positiveness of superheroes. Whereas the
I've got a
Elementals,
comment.
I think if they went... What's that?
You got a comment from Jean-Luc Connery,
Yeah.
which I guess is a mashup of a couple of things. And he's got, who's the Brit? Oh, that must be about me. I knew you recognized you from somewhere. And he's got, what is the crown next to my name now?
What is the what?
The Crown.
The crown. I think it's a chat feature. Is that right, Rockham? Is that a chat feature?
It is. It's a chat feature.
Yeah, I
All
don't
right.
know. StreamYard is doing something, and I don't like what they're doing. Everybody's names are different. Everybody's got numbers and crowns. I don't like it. And I want it to go back to the way it was.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either. A lot of people like Geeks and Gamers and other people that have been using StreamYard lately, they've been having really difficult times with it as well.
Yeah, I paid a year, and I think my new year is going to be up. And I'm seriously considering leaving because I just don't like the way it's working these days.
What's your alternative?
There's Restream, and there's another one.
There's OBS as well. That's always an option.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I'm not a real YouTuber.
I know how to use
John's
it,
a
and I don't like change because I'm an old.
yeah.
It's because we're
John
old.
is a
Nobody likes change when we're old. Nobody.
John is a bona fide YouTuber, so I mean, he's had Jim Shooter on his stream, and what does that say?
I know, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, Jim was cool. Oh, so you were saying your favorite Lovecraft is Horror at Red Hook?
Yes, Horror at Red Hook, The Thing at the Doorstep,
Thing
and
at the-
probably most likely, I mean, out of the non-big ones, of course. I like, and of course, The Silver Key, which was, if you get a chance, look at Robert E. Howard, the guy that wrote Conan. His suicide letter that he wrote to Lovecraft before he killed himself was all about the Silver Key. So when I read that story, it holds something a little bit special to me.
Really? Do you have a link to that letter? I would like to.
I could try to find it and I'll send it to you on X.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing. I don't like reading.
What do you think? What do you think of the Nicolas Cage
Loved it.
adaptation of
Absolutely
Color
loved
Out of Space?
Loved
Yeah,
it.
I had to stop watching because it was messing my head up. It was terrifying.
You know who directed
Terrifying
it,
it
right?
was. No, who?
Okay, a little secret. I used to work in Hollywood. I have
Ooh.
a screenplay for the next one, by the way. Yeah, the director, I forgot his name, Richard. Richard, I believe is his name. He's the director that worked on the Island of Dr. Moreau when they had that big blow up between
Marlon Brando.
Val Kilmer
Marlon Brando.
and Marlon Brando?
Yeah,
Val Kilmer.
is
that was him.
such a disaster.
That was the director of Color Out of Space. That was his first movie since the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Isn't he South African?
Yeah, I believe he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
There's
was
a great Critical Drinker
Island of
video
Dr.
about that
Moreau.
film.
How long it's been.
Yeah, well, that
I
would
love
taint
this.
your career forever.
I'm
I
glad
love
this was a
Silver
good
Key.
comeback for him.
Luke Stone is drawing a story for me called The Sleeper Agent. And if you read between the lines, the Silver Key is an important element. And it's no secret that the Sleeper Agent's secret identity is Jack Carter. And Jack Carter is a direct descendant of Howard Carter, who the guy who discovered King Tut.
Like it.
Carter and John Carter. So
Nice.
I'm tying
Hey.
the whole Carter family into dreams and everything.
You've got a comment from True Spartan 1000. Drive safe, John.
Thank you,
And Ben, voice actor, says, I was going to say the same thing. Be safe out there, John.
Thank you for the concern, everybody. The reason I'm being such a wuss is this is literally the longest drives. I drive every day from the train station home, and since my car accident, I don't drive at all. My wife drives, so this is the first time I'm like doing a major drive since my car accident.
John, I just FYI, guy to guy, I don't think it's being a wuss. Literally doing something safer is not being a wuss. You have a family to come home.
Smarter.
Not 20
Smarter is the word we're looking for.
Exactly.
I used to
Not
drive
nothing
like
about
a
being a
maniac.
wuss. You're
Now
being
I'm
smart.
driving like a little old lady. You know, I got my hands at 10 and 2 and whatever, 10 and 6, whatever the numbers are.
Stiff armed.
If you can notice, I don't know if you know the lights, but everybody's passing by me because I'm driving exactly the speed limit. You know, I'm sure my wife is watching this now. Honey, I'm being safe.
Wise.
Yeah, but
Very wise. What part of Canada is your wife from, John?
She was born in what is it called, London, and then as far as
London, Ontario.
Yeah, and then went to Winnipeg, but like spent most of her like teenage
What?
in Winnipeg.
Oh my God, that's a bit of a downgrade.
Her brother went to Toronto, and he's still there now. So, you know, we've been to Toronto a few times to visit. Love Toronto. And her mom went to Vancouver. And unfortunately, the only time I went to Vancouver is when we went to clean out her apartment after she had a heart attack and died.
Oh,
But
that's a downer.
I haven't been to Winnipeg yet. You know, because of my job.
Don't be in a rush.
I was going to take time off. We were going to drive to Winnipeg, but you know, I used all my time off breaking my full neck. So, you know, so
it's not going anywhere. No one wants Winnipeg. No one's going to steal it.
Right.
Next year we'll go. You know, once we pass the New Year's, I get all my time off again. You know, it's back to normal.
I've never made it actually up to Canada. I've been up to Washington. That's about as far as I got. Turned around, said nope, and went back.
Seattle is beautiful. I was in Seattle, I think in '91 was the last time I was in Seattle.
Oh, I used to live in Portland, so Seattle was the furthest thing from my mind.
Oh, okay.
Where are you in the States, Sarkham?
I'm in Oregon right now, unfortunately. I'm looking at probably, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the green here. I love the forest and I love everything. It's almost as expensive as California now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, my buddy Brian, he lives outside of Portland, and he is so conservative. He makes me look like a hippie, and I'm like, how can you live there? He goes, John, once you leave Portland, it's all hillbillies. It's guys with shotguns. These, you know, survivalists.
Yes.
And everything.
Absolutely. Oregon's red, except for Eugene, Salem, and Portland.
Right, and that's red state. Like New York. New York is bright red except for the 5 boroughs.
Where all the voting is at.
Right, which is why
well, they called it Queens for a reason.
Right. Which is why they're so adamantly opposed of getting rid of all the illegals.
Oh no, that keeps their vote.
See, I don't believe that the illegals vote. I believe that they get counted on the census, and then they print up ballots, and then the machine votes.
Oh, no, you're absolutely correct on that. Illegal voting isn't actually the illegal aliens filling out the ballots themselves.
Correct.
And sending it in. It's representatives in those areas doing it for them, generally,
Correct.
And sending it
in. American politics.
I mean, for you in Australia, not so much right now, but I mean, England has it worse than we do by far.
I don't know what's going on in Australia. I'm in New Zealand.
New Zealand. Oh, you're a Kiwi. Even better.
Yeah, no, I'm not a Kiwi, but that's all right.
Okay.
You're translating.
Anyway,
welcome to America, where we don't know the difference between.
Yeah, that's true. You have to feign with our and help us.
Only an ocean between them. That's all right, though. That's okay. Anyway,
well,
so
New Zealand,
what is the speed limit there, John?
RR. Well, I got traffic now, so I'm going slow. RR. New Zealand is the Shire. Australia is Mordor.
Parts of Australia are amazing, though. Like Melbourne's a very nice city.
It's a big desert.
I tell you what, I was in Queensland in 1998, and I've traveled through the States and stuff. and it really reminded me Queensland of the southern United States. All they needed was shotgun racks in their pickup trucks and rebel flags. But I think you would find Queensland culturally quite familiar, except for the sports, of course, cricket and rugby league. You'd have to appreciate rugby league, but that's something else.
So Arkham, I
Yes.
take it you're a comic book fan then, if you're following me and watching.
Yeah, I'm actually going through a lot of my modern indies over the last year that I bought through retail right now, ready to compile a video pretty soon. I think I'm going to do
Nice.
I Light Popeye. If you ever saw that, it's pretty damn good. It's a guy's modern. Where's that camera at? It's like a manga version of Popeye, but it's done by a guy here in the States, and it's actually very good. It's surprisingly good because Popeye makes a good manga character. He really does.
Professor
is
Savage
it
Dad
like
says,
this-
"Hail, John."
Is it a guy that? Hey, Savage Dad, how you doing? Is it like a guy who loves Popeye? Because one of my pet peeves is something hits the public domain and they're like, Popeye the Sailor, cannibal, and and Mickey
No.
Mouse,
It feels like
child
Popeye.
murderer.
It feels like
It feels
Popeye.
like good.
Yeah.
Because people keep asking me, John, do you want to use public domain characters? I really don't. I'd rather use my own characters. But if like the only public domain character that I would be tempted to use would be Captain Marvel Shazam. I just feel he hasn't gotten a good representation in comics in like 50 years. But I would do it because I love the character. I mean, I wouldn't do Captain Marvel, sorority gangbang. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you worked for Marvel, you could write that. I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
yeah, well, it would be Captain Marvel fraternity gangbang. That's what it would be. But you know what I mean? So like when I see like Sherlock Holmes Vampire Hunter, I'm just like, come on, that is just lazy.
Exactly. If you actually get a chance, John, or both you guys, RR and John, I know it's
Oh yeah, I
mainstream.
can hear you now. Your mic is coming in good.
My mic's coming in better.
Yeah. All of a
Okay.
sudden, I guess maybe I'm in a new area or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach 10's here. Zach 10 says, "Hail you all. Hope you're having a blessed day."
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear
Yep.
you.
Okay, because I just got a message from my wife. I just want to make sure everything's okay. Our cat just had surgery.
I hope she's
Oh.
doing well, or he's doing well.
She's yelling at me for streaming.
Okay. I'll wait till you come back.
Yeah,
RR while we're on.
this is keeping me focused.
Perfect.
Like my big
Yep.
fear is getting
Zach-
sleepy while driving. So talking is keeping me awake.
We'll keep you
Zach
talking.
10
all night
says
till
we
get
can hear
ready
you.
to go.
Hail, Zach 10.
Oh, Zach 10. Hey, did I get my blessing? I can't tell.
You did
You
get
did.
one.
Zach 10.
You got a blessing from Zach 10.
I was going to ask both you guys,
Am I
have
coming
either
to
one of
shop?
you had a chance to read the Transformers and G.I. Joe by Robert Kirkman yet?
No, not my thing. My
It's
friend,
not
my
mine
friends read
either,
that stuff.
and it's amazing.
Is it the shattered glass stuff?
It's amazing.
Yeah, just traffic.
Cool.
I'm up to my exit, so everybody's just creeping right now.
Sweet.
I got a friend who's reading the Transformers Shattered Glass, where it's the Autobots are it's the alternate universe, like mirror Star Trek thing, where the Autobots are evil and the Decepticons are the good guys. He says it's really good. So
Yeah,
My
this one.
problem is- I was
Go ahead,
too
Peter.
old for the Transformers, and I was too old for G.I. Joe. So I completely missed them. They were like my little brother's cartoon toys. So I never got them. So I was never interested. Somebody got mad at me that I never read G.I. Joe, so I actually bought G.I. Joe #1 and #2, and I really, really like it. So every time I see cheap copies, I'm picking up, but I'm picking them up in order because I have to read comics in order or I go nuts.
that source says, "Heyo, how did the con go?" And RJS the Fourth Age says, "First time seeing John outside of his natural habitat of
I know,
long
I know.
boxes."
I just appreciate keeping me company because, like I said, I'm scared to drive lately. I'm such a wuss, and last time I drove, all of a sudden I just started getting sleepy. So if I keep talking, I'm all amped up on coffee and everything too, and I took a nap. I'm all prepared. So
Yeah,
Hang on, I'll
someone
check
in
the chat.
asked if I thought Kirkman was going to be, because Kirkman's actually taking over Transformers himself soon, and that happens on
right,
issue
I heard that.
24.
I love Kirkman's writing.
Yeah, he actually takes over the leadership of writing on issue 25 on the first issue of the second year anniversary. He's going to take it over the book, and they have a new artist who's superb as well.
Timmelson 2132 says, "You know how I know EVS and Shane are gay? They're obsessed with calling John Lombox John Lombox."
Yeah, isn't that clever? Isn't that clever,
John
right?
Lombox.
You change
Yeah,
one
they're
letter.
so
That's
dumb.
clever. That's so clever. And you know what gets me is I've never called any of the people that I disagree with, except for that one time, because I was pissed. I use everybody's right names. I don't repeat any of the rumors and slanders that I don't know that are true. You know, I try to insult people based on like what I know actually happened. So, you know, everybody calls Ethan Evan for whatever reason. I don't, you know, but whatever. And then Art of Roy is just like, I know it's not true, but it's funny. Yeah, you guys got the upper hand, repeating things that you know is not true because it's funny. Yeah, you're the good guys.
I'm not going to read Tillson's most recent comment because that's just a bit that's a bit risky for me. You can read Arkham if you want.
The one about, well, it's better than that one.
Let's have a look.
I can't take my eyes off the road to read comments.
No, don't. No, we'll take care of the comments.
I'm officially in Queens now, so you'll see my demeanor turn to anger. Once I
Maybe you run into Peter Parker.
It's happy John goes bye-bye.
Yeah, we're gonna keep John happy. How's that? It was just Comicscape being Comicscape. Ignore it. Or he might be just joking about Comicscape, but either way, it's nothing to get frazzled.
Have either one of you guys been to New York?
Yeah, I haven't. 2008, we went. My wife, very wisely, we have family in Toronto, so we were visiting them, and my wife said, "Oh, we should take her down to New York because she's the genius in our relationship." I just carry the bags, but we went down to New York City, and it lived up to everything. Because on that trip, we've been to London and Cairo, and New York City has the insanity of Cairo, but the scale of London just amped up, dialed up to 11. It's unbelievable, really. But it was anyway. I don't know what it's like now, but in 2008, it was as spectacular as the movies and the Broadway shows make it out to be.
Excellent. I got a comment here.
So much in the past. Oh,
Zach 10 said something nice. Wasn't being with bad jokes. What's the plan for tomorrow? Are we going to be able to do Sunday comics?
That's the plan. Tomorrow for Sunday comics, I want to do. I forget what number it is, but it's Silver Surfer either 2 or 3. The one with Mephisto.
Ooh.
That's my favorite issue of the Silver Surfer.
Is that John Byrne?
No, it's John Buscema and Stan Lee.
Oh, it's Buscema.
Yeah, it's.
Miss Sparkle says hello.
Oh, okay. How you doing?
I love this one. I heard New Yorkers are not afraid to tell you what they think. I'm like, yeah, you heard correctly.
The thing about New York is it gets a reputation for being deservedly so. We're rough, but like we don't play games. Like if you're acting like a jerk, we'll call you a jerk. But at the same time, like if you fall them down, we'll help you too.
It's funny as I've gotten older, I've gotten more of an East Coast mentality as opposed to when I was younger, which was very West Coast. The East Coast, I'm like, I'm gonna tell you how it is, plain and simple. I'll help you. I'm gonna tell you you're an asshole. I'll give you $1. I'll tell you to get a
I
job.
think that's everyone. Everyone gets a little more bit more right wing as they get older.
Yeah.
What are they? I was a perfect example of the first time I voted when I turned 18. I think I voted for Ralph Nader for the Green Party. And then I voted for Clinton.
Wow.
As you get older, you become more. I remember arguing with my buddy John, if he's in the chat. John, how you doing? he was like a teenage conservative, and I thought he was the worst. You know, your politics. You know, we were buddies, but like, we can't talk politics. You know, I was into Jello Biafra and like Noam Chomsky and all that stuff, and then I just got like it's to the point now where I can't listen to punk rock. I was listening to the Descendants the other day. I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh,
but
yeah.
all they sing about is this girl doesn't like me, and all I'm like, yeah, because you're a whiny bitch. You know,
Well, Descendants has always been. He's always been that nerd punk. You know, they've always had that mentality.
You know why you didn't get girls? Because you're a whiny bitch. You know who got the girls, even though he was 4'3", was Danzig, because he didn't want it.
And Rollins too, even though Rollins was I mean, he was a pretty big guy, but that guy was scared of fucking him. Yeah. I can imagine he's like, you're a liar. They're like, okay, we'll have sex. You know,
Rollins is huge. He was built like Lou Ferrigno. Jeez, man, what a handshake he had.
I can't stand the man as his political beliefs. I think Rollins is a moron. But when it comes to his
steering away from politics for a moment, you got a question, John?
Yes, you do.
That's what you're
from
here
Similson 2132, and his question is: ever pick a book by blindly picking a book out of a long box?
Like a comic? Yeah, that's funny. My friend Paul said that he said that you should, you know, since I got like 200 long boxes, to just get a number generator and generate a box and then another number and count back and pull out that comic and do that, which I might do. That's kind of fun.
Sometimes I'll buy like just add more. I don't need any more comics. God knows I have so many already.
Nobody needs any more comics.
Exactly. But if I see like a bag of comics that are all bulked together for $5 and there's like 10 in there, I'm like, you know what? There's a Dale Keown, Peter David Hulk I see on one of them. That's worth my $5 alone, right?
Yeah, you got to see something like
if I see something like that, it's a $3 book, but I'm like $2 for the rest. Okay, cool. I pick those up all the time.
Yeah, I won't do that. Odds are I have those comics already.
Yeah,
I used to just people used to give me their collections, like, oh yeah, just take this. Or, you know, give me $20 and take all my comics, kind of thing. But now I don't even do it anymore because like I need a 6th copy of you know the Iron Man run from 2000. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna start having garage sales where when I buy collections, stuff like that, everything that's under 8, that's just like $5 or less, $2, boom, gone. Just get them out. Boxes.
Zachtan's got the best comment. Zachtan's got it right. He says, if you're a nerd, just own it. Don't try to make it cooler than it should. Don't be bitter.
Yeah, I tell that story, but
Zachtan.
I was on the high school football team, and I dreaded my friends know that I played Dungeons and Dragons and read comics. And then one day they surprised me. We were like, John, we'll go to a party, and I was in my bed like, with Daredevil comics, and they're like, oh, I love Daredevil.
You and I, John, you and I must be related, or like perhaps slightly different clones. Because I was high school sports, when I did wrestling and rugby in high school. I remember I played Dungeons and Dragons. I was sitting before a rugby match reading a Conan book, and the other guys in the team said, "Oh, could you read us some of that?"
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I never played sports in high school, but I got into martial arts out of high school, and I started bouncing and fighting out.
Which one?
Kempo was where I started.
Which kind? Like Shirinji Kempo or like
Kempo karate? Official.
Like it's like Shirinji Japanese Kempo, or like Hawaiian Kempo, like Ed Parker.
More Hawaiian Kempo. 7 sword style.
I'm just curious because I never did this before. Like, can you see me and hear me well?
Yeah. Hearing is a little difficult, but we can see you fine.
You look incredibly handsome, so obviously the camera's wrong.
Right.
Yeah, no. It's the Doppler effect.
I did karate for about 30 years. Kind of semi-retired now, but it's definitely discipline is good for you though.
But unfortunately, at 55 now, with a shot knee, shot ankle, shot shoulder, I kind of wish I could go easier.
Yeah, I got the same problem.
Concussions.
Yeah, yes, I've got the same problem. My knees are knackered. I've got all kinds of injuries. I tell you, the last time I did any serious sparring was 2022, and I've got a rib popped. I ran into a sidekick and popped one of my ribs on the right side.
Oh, I wouldn't spar. I was rolling, and I hurt my shoulder so bad. It's just like, no, I'm done rolling. I'll do scrimmages. I'll do practice, but I'm not going to free roll anymore. I'm just.
I don't think I could. I don't think I could do grappling now without bits of me falling off.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. My knee needs replaced. The doctors told me there's nothing we can do about it. It has to go. I'm just waiting until it has to go.
Wow. I haven't
Just
been
having a look at.
Sorry, John. Go
my
ahead.
car. I got
Go
the
on, John.
Easy Pass. I'm in my wife's car because my car is just like a piece of crap station car. My car has the Easy Pass on it, and I just realized I don't have the Easy Pass. But they don't take cash anymore. They just bill you by your driver's license. So
That's kind of
if you're
cool.
watching this, just give me the bill when it shows up in the mail.
You get the bill. It's like $5,000.
No, I think it's
Tell you what,
like $18 or something like that to drive over.
Not bad at all.
yeah, some toll roads are very expensive. The 407 in southern Ontario definitely is. It's quite expensive to drive on.
So, RR, what are you currently reading, my friend?
Me? Well, the thing about me is I have maybe one long box of comics all put together. Because I've lived in New Zealand about 30 years, right? And when I left Canada, where I was living before, I gave 99% of my comics away. So I just have a collection of things that I like the best. Those I read in the moment. And it's all old stuff. So Atlantis Attacks.
Nice.
What else on my table? This. This is great. Grant Morrison.
Yeah, I love Grant.
John Burns 2112.
I've never read it, and I love.
Have you not? It's kind of a prequel. It's a prequel and a sequel to Next Men.
Okay. Good.
I'll tell you what. Today I got out a big pile of paper comics just to read through. I was trying to explain to my wife the joy of this. John, I'm showing Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe from 1983. S to U. It's got Thor, the Thing.
Very good. John, do you mind if I show RR in the audience my thrift store run from today?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ooh,
Okay.
thrift store.
I'll show you exactly
run.
what I found. It was half off to 75% off everything I got.
Ooh.
Yes. So I got this. It's not the biggest thing in the world. It's Deceived. It's a Star Wars book. It's first print though.
That Darth
So I
Vader.
got it for $5 for a first print, and it's 45
Nice.
online. Yeah, not bad. Comic book wise, nothing much. I paid $30 for this.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm super happy.
Ooh.
Is it? I can't-
Fancy.
Yeah.
It's Wolverine. It's Frank Miller's Wolverine,
Wolverine number
one.
Oh, that's $30.
So that one I paid for independently. Wasn't part of a bundle. Same thing with this one. I got this one for I think $7 for issue 3.
Which issue is that? It's
issue
Miller's
3.
Wolverine. Issue 3.
Issue 3.
You gotta tell John so you can't see him.
Oh, okay. I'll speak a little.
Announce the comics because I'm looking at the road. I'm not looking at the screen.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
don't.
I got this stack for I think 10, right?
Spider-Man and Punisher. Ooh.
Right. I think that's like 3rd or 4th appearance. No big deal. But this is what I loved in the back. It's not worth anything, but I love it because I saw this issue 8 all the way to. People are going to hate the way I'm handling these books.
Bit closer. Can you hold it closer, please?
Yes.
Can't quite see it. It's that man thing. Oh.
And I believe there's an issue. Yeah, there's an issue 1 in there. Boom.
Ooh.
$10 for that whole stack. I'm like,
Feel fear.
Yeah,
and
okay,
burn.
Oh, that's-
Such a man thing.
That's the second series of Man Thing, right?
yeah, it's the second, but still $10.
Yeah, those are great. Those were my first exposures to Man Thing.
I'm still
Which
an
came
old
first?
fan.
Which came first, John? Man Thing or Swamp Thing?
Oh, I want to say Swamp Thing, but I might be wrong. I do know that they were both inspired by the Heat.
Question for the chat. Someone check it out. Tell John which come first, Swamp Thing, Man Thing. Come on, chat. We need you.
And while we do that,
There's
John
always-
and R. There's the Dale Keown cover I told you about, the one that I saw on the cover.
Ooh.
So that's the one
Is
I got
that
for $5. And
Is that
this
Juggernaut in the background?
yeah, and it's a great story. I mean, the whole Dale Keown, Peter David's line is up there, in my opinion, with the John Byrne, Chris Claremont X-Men, the Wolfman, Perez, Teen Titans. No, I don't mean as in good. I mean as in linear. You can follow from A to B.
Oh, sorry. No, you can just say what you like, mate. I'm just pulling faces. Don't worry.
Oh no, you're good. And the rest of it was trash that it came with.
Yeah, but some of that trash is great. Show us some of the trash.
I'll show you
Show us
some
some
of
of
the
the
trash.
trash, mate.
Like, I'm a huge Negative Zone fan,
Oh,
but-
Blaster, the
Yeah,
living
Blaster
bomb
is cool.
burst.
but I'm an Annihilus guy. 90s stuff.
I like other
Morbius.
that aren't copies of Earth. You know, like, so I like the Negative Zone because it's just a crazy place. But
Yeah, and
I'm
the
not a fan.
storylines when done right are amazing, like Conquest or Annihilation.
Yeah,
Have you ever read
Annihilation
Annihilation?
is good.
Oh,
I'm not a
Mike
fan
McMahon art.
of parallel
Mike
Earth.
McMahon art says Man Thing was first.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
No, well, still not too bad.
What else you got?
Part in that pile.
The mighty Thor.
What do we have here? The thing that everybody has a billion copies of in their collection when they buy in bulk. Not too bad. An X-Men run, $2-3 book all day.
Is that Arthur Adams?
AMS.
Oh no.
And an Uncanny. It's a later Uncanny. It's still
All right.
Uncanny. But
Is
like
that
I
Jim
said-
Lee?
Yeah. Is that a Jim Lee? No, that's Parney. And
Right.
inside is Tom Parney again.
All right.
Yeah, we want to get into good stuff. I can go get some.
How much further you got to go, John?
41 more miles.
Okay, so about 20 minutes.
You kidding me? It's probably about an hour.
What?
Yeah, driving to New Jersey.
Oh, it's New York. That's why.
Oh,
We do
So
have a
that
comment in
New York-
chat.
that New York Minute thing.
Yeah. Well, when I lived in LA, I used to work at a studio called Spectral Motion. I lived in Koreatown. Spectral Motion was in Burbank. 15 minutes. If I left at 7:30, I was there. If I left at 7:45, it was an hour and a half.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's completely related and totally applicable note. Zachtan says, I like exotic places like underground realms, floating islands, or underwater kingdoms.
Ask him if he likes underground railroads where cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers live. So that's where John works.
Zachtan?
He works with chuds. Oh, by the way,
Oh,
John, I'm the one that makes all the chud jokes in your comments.
The chud
Okay.
jokes.
Yeah.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller.
Mm-hmm.
Chuds are real.
Chuds are real.
Homeless people down there.
I don't doubt that for a second. You know? That's probably the only realistic part of Daredevil Born Again, the Disney series.
I didn't watch the second one, the new one that came on. Didn't even bother.
It had ups and downs. And if you really love the Netflix series, I don't think you'll enjoy it that much. But I thought there was some decent stuff there.
I was for my Daredevil experience, and John, I'm not trying. Hopefully, we're not overstepping anything you want to do on chat with us talking back and forth. My Daredevil.
He's eating.
He's eating. He doesn't give a shit. He's just like, keep me company. That's all I want.
It's exactly. I like, I was hoping somebody would be sitting next to me bullshitting and talking about comics the whole way. So this
Well,
is,
if you ever come to Oregon, we'll do a road trip.
yeah, I'm enjoying listening to you talk.
All right, go, Arkham. What are you going to say?
I started off my Daredevil with early Frank Miller because of my brother back in the 80s when I was 12, 13 years old. I read all the way up to John Romita Jr.'s run to Inferno through Daredevil. That's how long I was reading Daredevil. And like everyone talks about their ground level superheroes. And the Daredevil was it. I didn't need Spider-Man. I didn't need Punisher. I had Daredevil because he kind of did it all. you know. And I will love that series from just forever and ever. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to talk about good martial arts comic books. Pick up the Frank Miller Daredevil.
Yeah. I was telling Clobby, who's passed away, I was telling him on a Daredevil stream, a friend of mine, a year ago, no, 2 years ago, because he went through all the Daredevil comics, that if you look at Matt Murdock's favorite kick, it is a right leg side kick. And you know that Miller did some study on anatomical position because he has the base foot pointed in the exact opposite direction to the kick, which is how you maximize the opening of the hips, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to, your back foot points away from the direction of the kick, right? At 90 degrees. So that,
Well, it keeps the
showed that-
counterbalance weight pushing
Yeah.
towards the opponent.
but it showed that Miller understood
Yeah,
the
he did
biomechanics
research.
of those kicks. Yeah. Whereas there's some comic book artists who don't. Some
Oh, there's a lot of
guy-
comic artists that don't know how to fight at all, and their art shows it.
yeah, but Miller obviously spent some time
Yes.
looking at how those techniques were
Even their
developed.
stills. Leonard Eastman and who did TMNT? Eastman and Leonard.
Eastman and Laird.
Yeah. They did some basic studying for a couple of their first books too. If you look at some of the fighting stances they used, I don't know if it was just from them copying old Shogun movies or old samurai films, but if you look at the way Raphael uses his size and Mikey using nunchucks and Leonardo using the katanas, they're taking basic, like with the katanas, he's taking samurai stances, while the other ninjas don't do that.
All right, check it out. So here is Matt kicking Doris, the evil assassin nurse, in the face. And look at the position of his base foot. He's pivoting into the kick.
Yeah.
He's
And look
striking
at the
with
way
the
he also has
heel.
his arms to counterbalance the weight.
Yep,
Of course.
exactly.
It should be
Yeah.
it should be put up to his face and not all the way down, but still.
Well,
I like
he's fully committed to the kick, right?
Yeah.
Like he's disarmed her. He's
He's all
fully
fucking
committed to the
blocked.
kick. He's putting everything into it. And yeah,
I'm driving through like a populated area of New Jersey, and there's fireworks overhead. So usually,
Kurt McMahon.
usually
Kurt
the week
McMahon.
of the 4th of July, everybody in America is shooting fireworks.
Yeah, it's right around that corner. I got to finish
Sure.
up a sign I'm making for somebody for that.
Fireworks. Sure. Kurt McMahon 7386 says the hand.
Oh yeah. Speaking of martial arts, if you get a chance, the newest
What is
G.I.
it?
Joe member is an
Oh,
MMA
right.
fighter. It's weird.
Yep.
Yeah, but I like him. He's an asshole. He's a complete douchebag. And I'm like, I'm glad that they're bringing a douchebag asshole into the group. You know, everyone G.I. Joe's all get along, and I'm like,
So he's based
bring
on
him
Chael Sonnen then.
yeah, that's what he is. Chael Sonnen. Pick up that he is Chael Sonnen. He's a complete
I
shit
heard-
talker.
I heard Chael Sonnen's made a return to the Ultimate Fighter as a coach. Not
Does
sure if
that-
that's correct.
I mean, he can't.
Have you
compete.
guys been reading G.I. Joe since the 80s, 90s?
No,
Yeah.
because I read some of them here and there. Did not like them because I was an avid regular superhero reader.
Yeah, me too.
When IDW got a hold of them, I refused to read it. It just was trash. But I believe in Kirkman and everything he's ever written. I have never been disappointed in.
Yeah, me
So
too.
once I heard he got a hold of G.I. Joe, and then that the guy that originally wrote G.I. Joe for Marvel and IDW, who never was allowed to write his stories, he has a Japanese name. I can just
Larry
grab
Hama.
one of his books and look. But once Robert Kirkman gave him the okay to write the G.I. Joe he wants to write, I bought those books too. I was like,
No,
let's see what he
Larry
brings.
Hama, right?
Say that again?
Larry Hama.
Yes, Larry Hama. And they're good. I got issue 301 to 315. And like I said, I'm not an old school G.I. Joe guy, and I enjoyed every one of them. You don't have to know the past to be current with those books.
Old school G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Now,
Larry Hama is
everybody knows-
the G.I. Joe guy.
Did any characters in G.I. Joe die and stay dead?
In this new series, yes. In the Robert Kirkman one, definitely. You know, Kirkman doesn't care about killing people. He will drop you in a heartbeat. And just like in Transformers, do you want me to give a spoiler from issue 1, even though it's a year and a half old?
Sure.
Bumblebee doesn't make it out of first issue. He's gone. First page. Dead.
All right. But that's nothing new. I mean, I'm sure we were all there in 1986, sitting in that cinema, and
And I loved every second of it.
losing our minds as all of the
Well, let
Autobots
me
get
ask you-
exploded in about the first 10 minutes.
I
I was crazy. I was like, yes.
I'm going to display my ignorance of the Transformers. They're robots, so can't you just rebuild Bumblebee?
You would think so.
They have a soul. It's called a spark.
Oh, okay.
Sparks have to be forged, and every spark is unique.
Oh, okay.
The only time a spark survives is if it gets housed inside of a containment unit, like the Autobot Matrix of Leadership. That's the only time sparks can survive outside of the shell.
Okay, so there is
Unless you're a 1%er.
So that gives it some stakes then, because I always thought that's just robots. Who cares? Just rebuild them, you know?
No, they developed a whole mythology behind that. And again, Kirkman's Transformers might be completely different. They are 100%. They get destroyed. They're just dead. You can, if you bring the body back quick enough, there's a spark stays inside of it. But if it's dead and they come back a year later, it's gone.
Okay.
Unless there's some sort of energy left over. But for the most part, if it's destroyed, it's completely destroyed.
Okay.
And I really like the new Transformers line. If you don't want to read it, but you want to get caught up with it, do you know Drunk 3PO? Drunk 3PO?
I've seen his channel.
He's doing a read along for Transformers right now. I think he's on issue 8. And they're pretty enjoyable. So if you don't want to invest into it immediately, you can just jump on that and see if you like it, and then go and buy it.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, if it's Robert Kirkman, Hickman and Kirkman are two people that I will always have my ear to the wall on. Anything they touch, I will.
See, I'll get anything with Robert Kirkman. This Transformers is the first thing I'm passing on, but Hickman.
It's worth it though, boss. It is worth it.
I'm over Hickman because he always starts out big and I get excited, and he always fails to put an ending on it. Always.
Ever since X, yes, but I think X wasn't his fault. X was the editors. That was Jordan White's fault.
Yep.
But you are correct. I think the last great ending he had, or good ending he had, was Out of Time on the Avengers run. When he was Steve Rogers was going through time trying to figure out a solution to the universes colliding.
Oh.
Did you read that?
Zide Comics. Oh, sorry. No. Zide Comics says, "What am I watching?"
People talking about comics.
John, you want to explain, John?
Yeah, well, 3 idiots talking about comics.
It's a ride-along stream. It's John's ride-along.
I'm driving someplace, and I just wanted to have somebody with me to keep me company while I drive.
Zach Tan says it's absolute cinema.
Do you mind if I show you guys some of the Transformers and see if you like it?
Go on. Why not?
Okay. I just grabbed an issue right at it because I have all the issues right now.
Who's publishing these?
This is Image through Skybound, which is Robert Kirkman's company. This is just the cover of issue 12. And it looks just like the interior art. I love every issue. I'm not kidding. Let's see. It's a
great feeling, isn't it? To pick up something and just
it's so nice being able to look forward to something every month.
I am just in bumper to bumper stop and go traffic. If I was by myself right now, I would be so angry, and so
like here's an image of Prime falling into orbit. Like I said, the work in these comics are beautiful. Robert Kirkman doesn't fuck around with his artists. He goes, yeah, you're going to put in work. And these guys put in work.
Hey, Arkham, did you read Die, Die, Die by Robert Kirkman?
I did not. I did read Oblivion Song, but I did not read Die, Die, Die. That's one I have to pick up.
Sounds German.
Yeah. Or a Metallica song. Or a Misfit song.
Yeah. I have Oblivion.
Zach10 says,
but
Zach10 says, why
I
is
have
it dark in John's stream and Sunny in the other ones? Must be pre-recorded and spliced together.
Yes, that's what we did. Don't tell anybody though.
Well, I'm actually speaking to you from tomorrow, your time, so.
That explains a lot. I've been trying
I got
to
1 to 5 of Oblivion, but I didn't read it yet. And I think issue 14 of Die 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 is the last issue, and I just can't find it anywhere. So I want to get that.
Last
I really
issues
like.
Sometimes they're much harder to find than first issues, especially like Akira, the last issue. Possible to
Full of
find.
you,
You're paying out the ass for it.
Yeah.
The last sort of indie thing I read was, well, I guess it's not really indie because Dark Horse, was Black Hammer. I think John was talking about that the other week. The Black
I
Hammer
heard it,
comics.
But I haven't read that yet.
Oh, it's an homage. Wouldn't you say, John?
It's so good. I bought it by accident. And I'm so happy. It is so good.
I'll be right back, gentlemen. I gotta go put dinner in the oven.
That's right.
Okay.
Zach10 saying it's all starting to make sense. Yeah, I would think of Black Hammer as an homage to Kirby with some sort of modern trends thrown in, but in a sensible way. You know what I mean?
It's like an homage to just all comics because they're the Justice League, and then there's like Lovecraft references to it. It's with some Marvel references. It's just so good, and that it really looks like 80s independent artwork. But
like
at first
Keith
I didn't
Giffen.
like it. It grew on me really well.
It reminds me of Keith Giffen from the 80s.
It reminds you of what?
Keith Giffen. He
Oh,
drew these were superheroes for a long time. It reminds me of his style.
Yeah.
He also drew Thunder Agents for a while too, Keith Giffen,
Yes.
when it was revived.
Yes. Yeah, that was my first experience with the Deluxe Comics Thunder Agents because George Perez did the covers. So of course that caught my eye.
And Perez did the Raven story, I think. Gosh.
Yes.
George Perez, rest in peace. What a genius.
Except that guy didn't have he thought that the Thunder Agents were public domain. So he got like a cease and desist. That's why that series ended.
There's such a great concept, the Thunder Agents.
Yeah, the Thunder Agents, even at the time, even Wally Wood's Thunder Agents, they were kind of like children-y, like they didn't take it as serious. It was more like early Justice League. It was kind of goofy. I don't think that the Thunder Agents really got a good, solid run. That deluxe image, those 5 issues of the deluxe, I think was the best Thunder Agents.
Now, did they have the villains and vigilantes statistics, like the stats?
Yes, they did.
For those characters. I'm sure they had Raven and No Man, but they never got around to doing Lightning, I don't think.
I don't think they had Raven or Dynamo, but they did have...
I've seen Lightning. I am 100% sure, John, that I've seen, unless I'm having the Mandela effect, I've seen Raven, because he had natural weapons, for the claws, flight device, but I never saw one for Lightning. And Lightning was my favorite Thunder Agent.
No Man is my favorite. To the point, back when I was 14 years old, I just made No Man and put him in my story and didn't tell anybody he was a ripoff, because that's what 14-year-olds do.
Well, he's a great character, No Man. He's brilliant. But I like the tragedy of Lightning. That the suit, which made him essentially the Flash, was also, aging him at an accelerated rate. So he was giving up his life to do these heroic things. I like the tragedy of the character.
Yes. And I like that the Mentor helmet slowly drove you nuts. The only one who didn't have any problems was Dynamo. He was like the coolest cat.
But he had his own problems. He had no sense of that he would turn the device on. Like the trope was he'd turn the belt on, leave it on, and then like, oh shit, I've only got 2 minutes left.
Yeah. His problem was like he was like bad with the ladies,
The Iron Maiden. Remember the woman in the armor? That was his nemesis.
Do you remember what happened? That was pretty racy at the time. She basically sexually assaulted him. Like,
No, I didn't get that far into it. I missed
yeah,
that one.
she did it on camera with like his fiance watching, and he was like, "I have to do this to save their lives." You know, I remember as a kid, like, what is going on? You know, this is supposed to be a kid's book.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny when comic books cross that line, between adult and child sensibilities.
Right.
Like
That's why
some,
I laugh at people when they, like, in the first page of the new patriarch story, that there's some sexiness between the patriarch and his wife. And one guy was just like, "What are you trying to sell pornography?" Like, I was like, 2 minutes ago you accused the patriarch of being a gay cuck. Now I show you that he's with his wife, and now I said, "Don't hurt your hands trying to clutch those pearls too much, you ridiculous fool." I said, "All you telling me is you never read a Bronze Age comic in your life."
Mhm. I suppose I haven't read. Like, I've got the first issue digital copy, and I put some cash in for us issue 2 digital. When do we find out about the story behind his wife's injuries?
Patriarch number 2.
Ah, well, don't say any more then. Don't say any more. I have some theories, but I'm just going to leave them there.
Yeah, the patriarch number 2 is the introduction. It's the patriarch is going to meet Raven, and it's going to go into the whole backstory of that happened. Patriarch number 1, Renzo has already started drawing. It's going to be broken into 3 parts. The first part is like an introduction adventure story. The second part is his origin, and then the third part is his real origin. And then,
Oh no, not the old everything you know is a lie trope. Oh, John, you've Alan Moored it up.
well, I already told people that all of the superheroes in my world have 2 origins: the real origin, and then the origin that the government gives you because they don't want people pursuing superpowers. So they give
Oh no,
origins
fair
that
enough.
golden, goose chases. So like, oh, okay,
You mean like kids in real life that are trying to get bit by spiders to get Spider-Man powers? Yes.
right.
Stupid people like that.
So like you cut, and if you don't play games, the government will ruin your life. So the patriarch has
True.
been. You don't really tell it in his first appearance, but he's chomping at the bit because he just feels like he's just tired of living a lie. There's a reason why he acts like he has super strength. First off, it's just a good trick so the bad guys don't understand his powers, but it's tied into his origin.
I do like when comic characters' powers aren't exactly what they, not that they're fake, but they're not exactly what you perceive them to be. I do like when you look at Thor, you think big muscle guy with a hammer. I was like, yeah, he doesn't actually need the hammer. That's just to focus him. Everything else, all the lightning, all the thunder, all that, he can do without the hammer. He just needs it to focus his ability. I was like, yeah, I would love to see somebody just draw a Thor comic where he doesn't have his handicaps or any other, where he's just uninhibited and goes off old Berserk style. I want to see somebody do that. And I remember you were saying that your character is telekinetic, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not super strength; it's telekinesis.
He was repairing the car. I was trying to show people that he's his super strength. He doesn't have super strength. If he doesn't have his telekinesis on, you could fight him and beat him. I mean, he is a physically strong guy with years of experience, but like he's no stronger than a Lou Ferrigno or an Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, he'll still knock you out as a normal human.
Right.
He doesn't need telekinesis to do that.
Human. So.
Did you ever back in the mid 90s, actually early 90s, when Marvel released their Ultimate Universe, did you ever read any of that? Not Ultimate Universe, I'm sorry.
Oh.
New Universe, what it was
I
called.
did, yep.
Oh, yes,
absolutely.
Okay.
DP7, best thing come out of it.
DP7, when they formed together, they did something similar to the Patriarch, where he had the the Native American god or whatever they formed together. Whenever he picked up
No,
something,
that's Cyforce. That's
Cyforce,
different
okay.
one.
Okay, when
Cyforce, you're thinking
Cyforce fused together, I liked when they wrote this. It's stuck in the back of the recesses of mine, 30 years later. I loved it that much. When he picked up the Washington Monument from literally the top, and you can see his fingers grab into it, and he uses it like a baseball bat, the way they explained it is he's not physically grabbing it and using it like a baseball bat. He's developing it around a bubble within himself and him almost telekinetically, where he's holding it together with his willpower and using it as a baseball bat. I enjoyed that.
Gladiator.
John Byrne said
Gladiator.
Yeah, Gladiator. There you go.
When he took over Superman, he was just like, when Superman grabs an airplane by the nose, the plane should crumble.
Yeah.
When you pick up a car by the fender, the fender.
You just have to rip the fender off. You're not going to pick up the car.
So that's always been my inspiration of telekinesis, mimicking super strength.
I mean, it makes more sense. But then again, sometimes I want to. It's very hard for me to do so, but I want to leave that part of my brain out when I read comic books. I don't want to have to think about the small mechanics. Unfortunately, with how bad writing has gotten, and that is on the forefront of my mind most of the time, how bad.
Well, it's the suspension of disbelief is a very delicate balance, right?
Yeah.
So a great writer can tell a story with really extreme fantastic elements, and you'll still accept them because the story has an internal logic and consistency. It's when things are jarring or all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, that's utterly impossible, when everything so far has been possible that you're drawn out of that, right? But if the story starts with heroes doing impossible things, but with a degree of, well, I wouldn't say defined limits, but there's a sense of these are the rules, right? There's a sense of rule and world building that you can follow, that you can accept. Then you can accept things like that. But it's as you say, today's writers are not particularly skilled at that, and that craft has been lost to a degree.
Yep.
Like the Elementals, back to the Elementals, they were really big about having logical reality behind these superpowers. Like Ratman. Ratman was a lycanthrope. He's a werewolf rat. So he was a human and he was immune to most weapons except for silver. But the bullet still penetrated him. But it didn't do him any damage. So the main agent guy was just like, I got machine guns over here. We're just gonna rip you to shreds. Yeah, it's not gonna kill you, but you're gonna be disabled for a while you're healing. So give up now. And Ratman gives up because he realizes, all right, I'm not in any danger, but I am in danger of being apprehended.
You're right. They can't hurt me or kill me, but they can debilitate me for a little while and catch me.
Right. And there was a bad guy called the Electrocutioner, and he had lightning powers. And he uses his lightning on Fathom, and she's made of water. So she just bursts and turns into a wave, and he shoots her. And then he looks around, and all of his henchmen are dead because the water carries.
No, I love scenes like that. Unfortunately, the Japanese are eating our lunch right now with this. There you go, stuff like that. They used to do that a lot more in comics. They don't do that too much any day. The Japanese do it a lot though, where they have powers play upon each other. We don't do that in American comics for some reason. The last time I think they really did that was the Fastball Special.
I'm writing a story set in the 40s with a boxing superhero. So he's like a wildcat kind of guy. I'm not telling anything else because I don't want anybody to steal the name. But one of the things he does is he fights an electrical device villain. So it's like, he's a hitman from the mob and he has like an electrical suit. And the boxer is also a scientist. So he's brains and brawn. And he figures out how to defeat an electrical based villain. It's a response to all of these electrical based villains. They just throw a bucket of water on them. If it was, so I came up with a whole story to explain how electrical powers should work if you understand electrical theory.
Is it all about the amps or the volts, John?
What's that?
Is it all about the amps or the volts?
The amps and the volts. Yep. Sorry, it just we started moving again. I'm finally out of this bumper to bumper traffic.
Good. We have a comment in chat from Zach again. Says there is a subtle difference between peak human and extra human, and I agree.
Right.
What I hate is when people call Captain America peak human. I'm like, no, he is not peak human. He is extra human. No peak human is benching 2,000 pounds. It's not happening.
I look at
Well, Ultimate Captain America.
There's a blurry line. There's a blurry line between, like the best, because like the best weightlifter, I think somebody bench pressed like 1,000 pounds or so, but that person also isn't a brilliant strategist, and that person also doesn't have super reflexes. Captain America
or
has
endurance
all
or
of that.
speed or strength or regeneration or any of that. And that's another thing people forget about strength. You can be as strong as hell, but you're going to tear your body up when you use that much strength. When you have super regeneration, you can punch so hard, you'll rip your bicep, but you don't care because it's going to heal right back up. That's what people forget about what's scary about people with generation. They can go so hard, they can destroy their body at the same time and not even care.
Oh, my thoughts are scattered because I'm trying to concentrate on the road. But when you were talking about, I have a hero. I showed glimpses of Captain Atlas. He is like the most powerful superhero in my world. He, to the point where like he could go toe to toe with Superman, and if he took Superman by surprise, he could probably beat Superman. He's ridiculously powerful, but he has a weakness that I think that compensates for it, and I'm not telling that yet. But
yeah, don't tell us. Let us read it. Let us find out.
Banoffee Pie. The High Lord Zart says, like when Batman can kick down an oak tree or suplex an alligator. Lol.
I could believe Batman suplex an alligator. You've seen that picture of that black guy kicking the alligator in Florida. Just give him a bat suit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, if Batman was from Florida, I could see him suplexing an alligator. That would not be a problem.
Nice. I'm officially a half hour away now.
We actually got is Batman a Floridian? Yes, he is.
Is Batman a Florida man?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we were able to keep you company, John, and keep you safe. That's the most important part.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Elementals. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, Bill Willingham's never going to do an Elementals revival.
Why not?
He doesn't have the rights.
Yeah, well, there is that, and I think also he feels. Didn't he have a big bust up with DC about Fables?
Yes.
Or am I misremembering?
Well, Fables completely fucked over every creator on that. Or not Fables. DC screwed over everybody that created Fables. They pretty much took it and said, "Screw you guys," which sucks.
He's one of the great, forgotten creators of the 80s, Willingham.
A lot of people forget about the 80s, the boom of creativity of small press. People, I was like, we're kind of going through it right now, which is fantastic. And we have the internet, which they did not have back then, which sucks because if they didn't get carried in a comic book store, you'd buy their e-zine at a convention or something. And that's how they had to get started. Now, people like John, people like Robert, hopefully me someday or somebody else, they could sell just online and they can get an audience. And I think that's fucking amazing, man. I wish he would come back with Elements now. I think he could do something. I really do.
I might have somebody's going to introduce me to one of the comic book presses, but everything's on hold until they find out what's going on with Diamond and everything like that.
Did you look at the company Robert goes through? Tree? Their prices seem pretty reasonable. I don't know the quality, but the prices seem pretty reasonable.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The guy that did you had him on your channel not too long ago. Robert Embry, I believe his name is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I believe. Just out of curiosity, when I was watching your interview with him, I checked out the publishing company he was going through to see. I'm like, how the fuck you charge $5 for a book? You're making no money. And I think he was getting the books for about $3.50 a piece after print for 24 pages in color. I'm like, bro, go 38 pages, go 40 pages, go black and white. 24 pages.
Yeah, but I use Teespring, and it's like $1.87 for a 40-page comic full color.
$1.87 for 40 pages?
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, but I'm paying for the art and everything like that. So that's why I got to charge $10.
Oh no, I don't think. In my opinion, right, when somebody's completely independent, especially starting out, yourself, Robert, Eric July back in the day, like when he had $35 books, now he has books starting at 17. You're going to charge more at the beginning generally because you're starting to build that interest. And obviously, the more you go with these publishing companies and distributors and so forth, the more you do business with them, the lower your price bracket's going to eventually be. And then you can lower your prices from there. But initially, you're going to start off with on a higher margin. And I don't think you or anybody else should have to apologize for that. If you're able to get a good price in, and I pay you $5 extra after your costs and all that stuff, and that's what you're making on your book, that's what you deserve, right? You put in your time, you put in your effort. And if I have the $25 to invest in your book, even though I could get it for $15, I'm going to give you $25 because that's your book and the price tag you put on it. And if I think it's worth that price, and I think you put that time in, I'm going to pay you that $25. I
feel bad charging $10, but I can't charge any lower. I was going to raise the price to $15, but I just couldn't do it.
No, I think your prices are beyond fair. I mean, John's are ridiculous. Not John, Robert. $5 for a paper book. He's losing money. It's $5 for the digital book. Understood.
Hey, John, I must ask: have you ever come across this? This is an indie comic by Aircell, which is a Canadian outfit. I think not so well. This is like from 1980. It's called John. It's called Starstone. It's like a real sort of science, post-apocalyptic. Sci-fi. It's a real Star Wars feel to it. It's from 1987. It's black and white. Something you'd really appreciate. It was on, I think, Trade Me or Amazon. Someone was trying to unload them, and I picked them up because I think I had a friend who had them way back when. This is sort of Canadian indie comics from the late 80s. It's crazy these things are still around. Anyway.
Hey, RR, I got something for you.
Go on.
This is a little indie book I picked up a little bit ago. I want you to see if you've seen it.
Sure. Probably not. I don't want to disappoint you, but I'll definitely have a look though. What have you got?
Well, it's an English book. It's not New Zealand. I'm sorry.
Heavy Metal. Well, it's a French book, isn't it?
1976. Yeah, mint as shit.
That's a French book, I think.
You're right. You're 100%.
Metal Hurlant.
It was started in France, but the official Heavy Metal logo for versions are British, I think, because the French name is where it started.
What a fantastic film! Hey,
oh my god,
what a fantastic film!
Soundtrack too.
Great. Yeah, I was going to say soundtrack. Well, there's DP7.
There you go. Yeah, I'm sorry, Robert James Dio with Black Sabbath doing Mob Rules on that fucking soundtrack. Oh.
That's a great soundtrack. What a great movie. I mean, you got my favorite segment has got to be the John Candy one. Den. I think Bernstein did.
Sorry. Go ahead, John. I didn't mean to.
Okay, go, John.
I got an alibi. It was all the SCTV guys. That was Eugene Levy.
That's right. That's right.
Speaking of Den, go ahead and RR. I'm gonna grab something real quick, and I'll show you something that reminds me of Den. You'll like it.
I would just say it. I think one of the Bernsteins Elmer Bernstein did the music for Den, because that's quite a sweeping orchestral score, right? Whereas there's so much rock music in the rest of the film, but Den has sort of a traditional sort of heroic theme, Yeah.
Orchestrated.
Yeah. There's a great line. The rising moon is a sign of our love, Den. And he's like, yes, that is a sign. And in his internal head, he's like, I had no idea what she was talking about.
Yep. Have either of you gentlemen had the opportunity to pick up and or read Geiger.
No, I have
Like-
not.
Brian Hitch, art. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. Brian Hitch is doing Redcoat, which is just as good.
I've heard a
This
little
guy's
bit about them.
art reminds me of the guy that did Den if he was a comic book artist and not an illustrator. The work
Robert
is
Corbin.
fucking superb in this book.
Yeah, Gary
Oh,
Frank
wow.
is great, and this is like the best thing he's ever done. His art.
Yeah, Geiger is the writing and the art of Geiger. This is straight heavy metal work. It's on a caliber that Marvel and DC should be fucking embarrassed themselves. What Jeff Johns put together in all this line, he's embarrassing them, and I love every second of it.
Did you read
Do-
the
do you
one
think-
shot? Did you read the one shot of Junkyard Joe?
Yes. Yep.
That was one of my favorite comics of the year. That-
Junkyard Joe made it into this on issue 13, so
No,
he's
but
part of
he-
the series now.
he had his own solo one shot.
Yeah, I got the limited series.
It was
Nice.
so good.
Yeah.
The rope,
Anything that this company, what's it called? The unnamed, I guess. Oh, no, Ghost Machine is what their title.
Ghost Machine is the imprint. Yeah.
Yeah, love everything
What
from them.
What do you think about the influence of Jeff Johns on comics? I mean, he's sort of,
I love
is
him.
he a hero or a villain or or
I
bit
think
of
he's a
both?
hero, and I think people that try to manipulate and use his ability and where he is end up becoming the villains. Like Hollywood, everything Jeff Johns did in Hollywood, it went to shit. But then you look at his writing.
That's fair.
You look at his writing, like his Green Lantern series, nobody's touching that. Period. That is the. I will definitely go down saying it. Jeff Johns, and unfortunately Ethan Van Sciver's in there too. But Jeff Johns' series,
Yeah, I've got the Rebirth series.
yeah, all the way up into Brightest Day, Darkest Night. All that it's like 5 years.
You know, I didn't really. I like Sinestro Corps War. I like that.
I loved it.
The Blackest Night, Brightest Day thing, I thought
Blackest
too
Night was
convoluted
great.
for
Brightest
me.
Day was not so great.
Too convoluted, and I think
There was a lot of
tons
Grant Morrison
different-
in that, though. You got to admit, that's why it was so
Yeah.
convoluted.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I feel like the multiple groups of ring wielders, one or two, fine. Like the Sinestro Corps and the Green Lantern Corps is sort of antithesis of each other is one thing. But do you really need like red lanterns and purple lanterns?
You
and
don't,
blue?
but
Eh,
it was so enjoyable to read, though. I really enjoyed it. And it does harken back to before Jeff Johns even wrote it. They talked about the other aspects, especially with I want to say his name is Voltex, the first Lantern, and he was Rainbow.
Hang on.
Voltox,
Yeah,
Voltex,
possibly.
something like that.
Yeah. I tell you, I like Jeff Johns' Secret Origin for Superman. I think he did a good job there. And Superman Brainiac, he wrote that, hey?
Oh, that's the best one. My second
Yeah,
favorite.
that's
Superman
fun.
story. Second,
That's Superman Brainiac is fantastic.
Superman Brainiac's
Like-
my number 2. I honestly think All New Day or what was it, the one where he dies at the end and Lex Luthor starts the Superman project and he's like, the Earth always needs a Superman.
Oh, you mean All Star Superman?
All Star. That's my first favorite. I
Yes.
loved All Star. I thought that
Grant
was
Morrison,
great. Because
Yeah,
it
I mean,
kind of goes with the Brainiac story because they do talk about
Yeah.
it in All Star. I think that's why I like
Why-
them together.
Yeah. Why though? Why does Superman? Why don't these great stories get adapted into films? I mean, Superman Brainiac, the template is there for an
Perfect.
absolutely brilliant
Yeah.
Superman film. You know, who's the? It's not Van Scriver doing the art, but that's
No, that
started- but was with
was-
Johns.
I think that was actually who I just mentioned. That might be Gary Frank that did that art, or,
Yeah.
or Brian Hitch.
He draw Brian Hitch. That's the one.
Brian Hitch
the
do
one.
it?
And he
Okay.
draws Superman as Christopher Reeve essentially.
Yes.
Like he uses Reeve as the template. Let's see if I can find it. Be on the shelf somewhere. Squadron Supreme. Whoa.
Oh yes. But tell me that scene where Brainiac's in prison and Superman walks through the oh my god.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Yeah.
and then they show him in the office just sitting there imagining that. Just if Superman lost his
Yeah.
temper once, There is nothing anyone could do about it, and I love that book
Yeah.
shows that.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
so
fantastic.
good. So good.
Yeah. No, but that could be adapted to an absolutely fantastic film. You know, I don't know.
And of
It
course, we
pains me
also
that.
have John Byrne's Superman stories that they can make movies out of too and do well. Instead of taking little bits out of it where it doesn't stand in context, like
Yeah.
James Gunn does.
Gunn says, "Oh, I'm taking inspiration from All Star Superman." But All Star
I tell you
Superman.
this: people
Go
are
on.
excited to see Crypto. When my wife saw the trailer and Crypto showed up, she turned to me and says, "Can we see this movie?"
Oh,
So, people, we like our dogs.
I love dogs,
True.
but
yeah, same.
he
Crypto was
did
a
change
brilliant
Crypto to
addition.
his dog, which I did not.
Yeah,
I was like, no, it's a white
That's-
lab.
that's Gunn for you, though. He's just.
I'm gonna grab food. Be right back.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I'm excited to see Crypto. I'm looking forward to seeing Crypto, but
Heroic
I
Tales
dunno.
number 5, A Boy and His Dog. That's all I'm going to say. Kaijus, a boy, a dog. It's going to be awesome. The second story is going to be Captain Atlas, the inspiration and mentor of the patriarch. So I might as well chill my comic while I'm driving.
Yeah, why not? Chill away.
Issue 4 is going to be the multiverse and time travel issue. There's going to be a character.
I tell you.
I'm introducing a character in issue 4 that I do think is going to be my breakout character.
Okay, but don't say any more then, because that's
No, I
Hey,
can't
John, I
tell
was
the names. Once I tell the names, they'll show up in other people's comics.
I've got a pile here of comics I was looking at. So these are really tatty old ones, because that's what just read the hell out of them. I got
I'm sorry.
Hulk 314 here. You can't see it, but Hulk 314 Byrne, where he hallucinates MODOK and the Juggernaut and all his enemies. I've got some. Oh, here's one that hopefully will never be adapted by modern writers. This is Dreadstar #1 from 1980. I mean, that's a great story, Dreadstar. 1985, the original. I mean, well, I guess it's the second Dreadstar story because you got Metamorphosis Odyssey before that. Oh, Jim Starlin. I mean, he's a great underappreciated creator, from the 80s. What a guy. I think there's a cameo of him in Endgame at the start in the support group. I've been rewatching some of the MCU films, some of the good ones recently, trying to recapture what made them so good.
Are you
what was it about them? Sorry?
Did I make you a moderator?
I have no idea. Don't think so. I don't know.
Okay. Remind me, I'll make
Why
you
do you need me to?
No,
Do you need me to block somebody?
I'm not going to start doing stuff now while I'm driving, but I got to make you a moderator.
All right. Do you need me to block some people? Is there a comment there? John, what are you doing?
Are there any inappropriate comments or anything? Everybody behaving? I can't read the comments.
No. We haven't had a comment for a little while. The last one was about 10 minutes ago. It's from Zach Tan about whether Batman is a Florida man or not.
This car drives
So you've been
really
running.
well.
You've been driving for an hour 33.
I never drive this car. This car drives really, really well. This is the new car that I bought after the accident. My car got destroyed, so I bought my wife a new car, and then her old car became my station car. And I'm so mad because my car was so good, it was so reliable.
Oh, now you got a comment.
What's the comment? What
Zach Tan says, sorry, I have been listening in the background.
Oh, that's fine.
Now, Zach Tan, apparently John is taking song requests. So if you put a song request in, I've heard he'll sing it for us.
It's funny because I'm going exactly the speed limit. People are passing me and looking at me like I'm crazy.
Are they shouting things like yada, yada, yada and bada bing, bada boom?
Well, I'm in New Jersey, so yeah, probably.
Oh, Zachtan would like you, John, if you could, to do a rendition of Boston's classic rock ballad, "Carry On My Wayward Son."
Oh yeah. Yeah. Ugh. I'm getting tired of driving. This is about as long as I like to drive.
How much further you got to go?
It's 20 minutes, 20 miles, 20 minutes. I'm going 60 miles an hour now on the.
Well, I might as well hang until the end then. I was supposed to be gone about an hour and a half ago, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
here I am. No, that's all right. That's okay. It's been very enjoyable catching up with you and
Am I
Arthur.
keeping you from doing anything that you're supposed to be doing?
No, nothing that important. Can wait. And I tell you, it was. Oh, hang on. Oh,
Where did Arkham go?
Zachtan says. Zachtan says it's karaoke. He wants you to sing a song. Karaoke. Oh, goodness gracious. It's a terrible pun. So who won in the end yesterday? Excited about. Did Bane win? So Bane won hand to hand, but Kingpin won the gang war. Would that be right?
Yes. I think Bane's weakness is that he's too emotional.
Mm.
And I think and Bane's weakness is he doesn't delegate. He takes care of everything himself. Whereas the Kingpin is smart enough to get competent people to run his organization. They know that they will be destroyed if they don't do it the right way. So he's got a well-oiled machine, whereas Bane will have like a bunch of I don't know, Bane isn't really known for having subordinates and everything. So I think when it comes down to a turf war, it's like a monarchy with like barbarians underneath them. You know what I mean? Whereas the Kingpin is a well-oiled machine. But
So you're saying
one-on-one Bane will beat the Kingpin.
You're saying Bane is a micromanager?
Not even. He won't let anybody do anything else. He's got to do everything. He's too much of a control freak to delegate.
Yeah. Sorry, just thinking about that.
And he's impatient.
You got to imagine like Bane running a big corporation. Hello, it's the Human Resources Department. We'd like to talk to Mr. Bane.
Yeah, Bane. Bane will appoint you in a position because he likes you. You know what I mean? Like his henchmen were people that were nice to him when he was a kid. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were good at what they do.
Zachtan says, Bane may gather a team, but Kingpin as an organization.
Right. Plus, Kingpin has more resources. He has access to international organizations. Bane conquers. Look at it this way: Bane would be the Genghis Khan, and then the Kingpin would be like the Roman Empire at the height.
Well, I said that in the chat yesterday that Bane is Patton, but Kingpin is Napoleon.
Yeah, the Roman Empire at the height of its powers could take out anybody. But, the Genghis Khan would just overwhelm you with force and stuff like that. But I think you get Mark Antony or Julius Caesar would outsmart him.
Zachtan says that Bane is a criminal, as an anarchist, but Kingpin is a criminal organizer. I'm not sure if I'd go along with that Bane being an anarchist. I agree with that. An anarchist. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure Bane's out to just destroy the established order. I think he's out to supplant it with his own.
No, I think
maybe that is anarchy.
It's pure ego. I just, Bane is just like I'm the top dog. Like you could manipulate him. It's just like, oh, somebody's better than you. He's like, really? Who's better than me? The next thing you know, he's focused on that guy. Whereas the Kingpin has goals, sets his goals. Like that's a waste of time. I'm not going to pursue that. That doesn't help. You know what I mean?
Gosh, when I think of Bane, I think of Jim Aparo. it was Jim Aparo who drew those initial stories, I think.
No, it was Graham Nolan.
Was it? I always thought Jim Aparo drew Nightfall.
No, Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon created Bane.
Okay.
I'm going to meet the creator of Bane. I'll be there in 25 minutes.
Exciting. Well, you should get some little video clips and just, make a
Yeah,
little
I
fun
want
video.
to take pictures. I brought my card. I brought some comics if anybody is interested.
Chuck Dixon. Do you know, he did the novelization for The Dark Knight.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, he didn't. No, it was Denny O'Neil. Sorry, Denny O'Neil. Oh, my God. I can't believe I mixed him up. Oh, nerd fail there. Oh, my credibility's gone now.
All of it. You got one thing wrong. Now it's all gone.
It's all over. It is all over.
Oh, you're going to, John, you're going to Chuck Dixon's house?
No, I'm going to there's a New Jersey convention, and Graham Nolan always has a party after it. And
Graham Nolan. Okay.
So I want to get back to Lovecraft. We keep getting distracted.
Oh,
said
I came
you
back
said-
on that on time then.
Back to Lovecraft. Howard
You said
Phillips
the
Lovecraft.
horror at Red Hook and the thing on the doorstep, and you said one other one.
I would say for me, I mean, I really, 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 really love Herbert West, Reanimator. But again, that's a part of the mainstream line. Going to
Is it the
more
Jeffrey Combs movies?
Pardon me?
So the Jeffrey Combs movies.
Yes, Jeffrey Combs was in that. But the book's a little bit slower, no comedy, and it's more of a straightforward. We're fucking up. We're experimenting on dead bodies. There's no humor in it. The book's pretty blatant. It's fucked up.
And it's his most mainstream accessible work.
It is. Yeah, that's
Really?
what I mean. I do like a lot of his more, Silver Key's up there. What else would I think would be up there?
Dunwich Horror.
What's that?
Dunwich Horror.
Dunwich is up there, but that's kind of mainstreamy too. Same with like The Gone, which is. By the way,
at the mountain,
Dunwich Horror.
at the
That's what I
mountains.
have the script for.
Oh,
Mhm.
at the Mountains of Madness.
I read the script for Guillermo del Toro's take. I did not like it. Did not like the ending. He was with the book. He was with the book. I would say about halfway through. Then he deviates and shortens everything badly.
All right. Well, then, what do you think of Alan Moore's take on Lovecraftian things?
I
The
love
Neonomicon and
his
the Providence.
limited series. I like Necronomicon. Good. What was that? That was 6 issues.
Neonomicon and the Providence series. So I've read that briefly.
No spoilers. I didn't read that yet.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to
Providence,
really.
he kind
John.
of gets into his own head a little bit too much, but I like the Necronomicon book he did, the limited series.
It was a bit. It was a bit graphic for me.
Because of the whole R word
Yeah.
things.
No
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah.
I
We're
didn't
not
read it.
spoiling.
No. Well, anyway, John. Yeah, I'm not sure if you like it or not. It is It's very hard R in terms of its rating. Like it's not for young people at all. And
But
it
it's
kind
not
of goes
overly
some places.
graphic, though. It could be way worse though.
What Neonomicon? To be
Yeah,
honest,
well,
but I saw a copy.
I'm a
I don't own a
Kiora
copy.
Miura fan for Berserk. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
it can get way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's pretty graphic. So yeah, I don't know. Zach 10 has a question though. He's talking about Lovecraft. He says, unfortunately, the artists and the scientists are the first to go mad when the sleeper stirs.
It is dark out now.
I just thought about John. Sorry about that. Rats in the Walls would be my third when it comes to the more sub classes, and of course you got the Lurking Fear, which is kind of part 2 of Rats in the Walls. Kind of.
Yep.
How people don't know it, but Thing at the Doorstep is part 2 to Shadow over Innsmouth. People don't know that. If you really watch and listen to the Thing at the Doorstep, a lot of it has to do with Innsmouth and her father escaping.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was part 2, but a lot of Lovecraft uses the same towns and this. And
Yeah, he interweaves very well.
Yeah.
My camera's off because I'm feeding my face, so I don't want to do that on camera.
I really like The Strange Case of Charles Dexter Ward.
Me too, but it's a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
That's my only problem with it. It's I think it's his longest book. Mountains of Madness.
And what is the one about the hillbilly that becomes like super intelligent and talks about a creature chasing him all night long? And it ends with the supernova.
Oh, Beyond the Walls of Sleep.
Beyond the Walls of Sleep. Is that the
Yep.
title? Yeah, that's a great one too.
Yeah, that one was really good. There's another one like that. There's Dreams of the Unknown Kadaf as well. What were you brought something in my head, but then I was trying to listen to you, so I didn't lose what book you were talking about. Something popped in, but I was too transfixed on you, and I totally right out the side of my head. It'll come back.
I like the picture in the house.
Mm-hmm.
That one is really creepy.
The Evil Clergyman's really good too. That one, where he has all the souls of the people that try to rob him as trinkets, and people see the trinkets and they try to rob him, so he just collects more trinkets. And he can't steal your soul unless you do something bad to him. And I think it's great. It's like a little booby trap.
But the thing on the doorstep, I just find it funny that he finally has a female character in his stories, and she's not really a female, you know?
Yeah. She's an old man. And are we spoiling anything for you if you want to read it? He's not here. Okay. Yeah, people don't realize that at the end, he with one bullet, he technically kills 3 souls.
He what?
His best friend, who was taken over, his wife that possessed him, who is actually her dad.
Right.
So he just bam killed all 3 of them. I was just like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I think his doorstep's so good. I think it's very underrated. Very underrated. And John, if you get the chance, Dark Horse has a Lovecraft line that's done by a mangaka. I can turn on my camera in a second, grab it for you. They're excellent. They 100% verbatim. They don't deviate at all. If Lovecraft wrote it, they put it in that manga, and Dark Horse produces it, and it's amazing. Very well done. If you love Lovecraft, I'll go grab it real quick and turn the camera on.
Yeah, I love From Beyond. That's very influential on me. The whole concept of our perceptions limit us from what's really in reality, and since we can't perceive it, we can't interact with it. That's going to be. I have a couple of short stories in the future where some of these superheroes that have heightened perceptions, they start to see things that nobody else can see, and because of that,
exactly.
they're interacting with like horrible things.
Have you read The Invisibles by Grant Morrison?
The funny thing is, I read it 4 times, and I still can't remember anything about it.
Other than it was adapted into a film in 1999 called The Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how the Wachowskis, they're like, oh, these guys are geniuses. I'm like, you've never watched anime, apparently.
I tell you now, right? I tell you now, Matrix Revolutions, the 3rd movie, yeah? The fight between Neo and Smith takes panels. I am swearing to you.
Oh, I know.
Panels straight out of Miracle Man #2.
I don't.
Alan Davis, Alan Moore. You know, you look at the shot of Smith floating in the air, hovering. I'll send it to you, John. This drives me insane. They could get no credit for it.
Miracle Man comics.
Yeah, well, there's a shot of Smith hovering in the air with lightning behind him. It is exact copy of the panel, the last panel of Miracle Man #2, and no one acknowledges that.
Yeah, that's when he pushes
like,
him out. That's when he pushes him out the window and he realizes.
Yeah.
This is what I love about Dark Horse. They're not my favorite company, but I do appreciate them. This is the Shadow out of, the Mountains of Madness comic book they released.
Oh, fuck. I just made a wrong turn. God damn it.
Don't look at the camera. Get back on the road. I'll show you later. Look how
Yeah,
big
focus
this
the
thing
road.
is, dude. Yeah, I got it for my birthday right before the company I work for opened up new offices in Mexico and Egypt and fired me because they could pay them 1/4 of what I got paid. So this is my hey, you're fired or you're let go, and my birthday present all in one shot. I was like, thanks,
You could
guys.
just about
You're awesome.
you could just about stop an invasion of old ones with that. It's so big.
And I know, but the like just the I love the silver leaf. The
Mhm.
art in it is actually pull up some art. It's quite good. It's not schlocky. It's done in a style that you would want Lovecraft done in. You know what I mean? You don't want Lovecraft's the art to depict from the despair that
You
the
don't get
story tells.
you don't get Jim Lee to do
No.
Lovecraft.
You get Jay Lee to do it, not Jim Lee.
Yeah, it needs to be a bit surreal.
Yeah, Jay Lee with the way he does everything so dark. I would love to see him do a Lovecraft story. Just don't make
Atmospheric.
everything so muscular.
Yeah.
Jay Lee is an artist that I haven't seen anything from since 2000s. I remember during the giant Me Too thing, he got caught up with something that somebody tagged him in and he got in trouble for. And I haven't heard from him since. I like his stuff. I'm one of the weird
Zach
people that like
Tans,
his work.
you got some comments. Unhinged Dent says, "Are we driving and streaming? The only way to go live." And Zach Tan says, "Horror of the Heights, Hang Stranger, and Children of the Corn are stories that remind him of Lovecraft, but by different people."
Oh yeah, especially Children of the Corn. My son was actually me and his mother were actually talking about naming my child Malachi at one time because we like the name. And
Yeah.
I'm like, probably not.
The funny thing about Lovecraft is everybody, oh, he was a racist. He didn't like black people. He's a racist. The guy doesn't like white people.
God doesn't like anybody, but what people also forget is he did end up moving to New York, marrying a Jewish woman, and one of his best friend and co-writers ended up being black. Who figured?
Yeah.
They always forget to leave that part out of it. You know what I mean? When they talk about,
Do you know, it sounds like you're describing.
He
Go, John.
is not fond of hillbillies. He's not fond of poor white people. Read all of his stories. They're all the bad guys.
yeah, if you don't have it up here, he thinks you're trash, period, no matter what
Well,
race you are.
If you're not of English descent, you know what I mean? If
You're reminding me.
You know,
You're reminding me of that Deep Space Nine episode.
Which one?
The one where Cisco he's injured and he goes in a coma and he imagines he's a science fiction writer in the 50s working in New York. And there's all the cast appear as without makeup, so they appear as the normal versions of themselves, as his colleagues at the firm, at the science fiction paper he works for.
I don't remember that episode. I'll have to. Is it during season? I want to say season 3, because season 3.
No, I think it's
the
later,
Bajoran War
actually.
starts. DS9 was kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll look it up sometime. But can't remember what season. There's a follow-up where he imagines he's in an asylum doing the same thing, but maybe Far Beyond the Stars. I don't know. But one of the things is they imagined that Deep Space Nine was the fever dream of this writer, and that possibly an ending for the series would have been part of his dream all along.
Oh, where he dives into and sacrifices himself into the.
That it was actually his dream all along. This science fiction writer that there never was a Cisco. All that happened was the imagining stories. Yeah,
I kind of like that. I kind of.
We should check out the episode. Because you can.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, you can see what they're doing in that episode is they have O'Brien and Clark and like all those people as sort of normal people, but what they're meant to be, I think, real life science fiction writers of the time. Like I think the character O'Brien plays is meant to be he's meant to be Isaac Asimov, I would think. He's all about robots.
Hazard reported ahead in 800 feet. You're still on the fastest route.
Still on the route. Cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever see there was a horror film that was very similar where this woman was being hunted or something like that. I'm kind of ad libbing. It's very vague.
Looks
I
like a
smoke a
bad
lot of
car
weed
accident
to
just
sleep.
happened.
But I do remember everybody that was in her circle, including the killers and everything else. She was a mental patient. And like all the people that were getting killed were all other mental patients with her. And all the like the cop and the nurse and all that were all like different orderlies and stuff that worked in the mental hospital. Was her coping with being stuck in this place and not being
I
able
don't
to
know
leave.
if you guys can see the lights, but I'm driving right by a really
Yeah, I
bad.
can see it. Something's going on.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Oh God, there's ambulances all over. I don't like seeing that kind of stuff.
No, I've seen too much stuff on the
Sucker
side of the
Punch.
road to like that.
The
Yeah,
film you're
Sucker
talking
Punch,
about
too.
is Sucker Punch.
I'm one of those people that actually didn't mind Sucker Punch. People are like, oh, it's the shittiest thing in the world. I'm like, you're taking it literal. Don't take the movie literal. It's a visual tour de force as a representation of what's going on in the woman's head. You're not seeing it verbatim because she doesn't know any of this shit. She doesn't have this knowledge, but we do. So this is what we see when she interprets, when she goes into that subconscious to become a murderer. That's what we see, and something close to what she sees. And that's why I'm like, it's not bad if you don't take it so literal. Don't take it literal. It's just
I still
enjoy
want to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
the planes and samurais with machine guns. That's all you should care about. It's not a good
What's that,
movie.
John?
I haven't seen Sucker Punch. I still want to watch it.
Visually, I like it. I'm not there for the story. Story is like,
High Lord Czar says in the chat, Lovecraft was very sheltered, and his mother
Yes.
built the fear of others. But as he met people, like his wife and friends, a lot of his perspectives on things changed.
he is absolutely correct on that. And don't forget about his aunt,
Great
too.
comment.
His aunt fucked him up. His dad also died of syphilis inside of a sane asylum, and he had to watch that happen. So he was raised by his grandfather, who was born in the early 1800s. So that's why he has that mentality of an early colonial, because he was raised by his grandfather and his mother, who hated him. His mother called him ugly constantly. He was abused as shit as a child.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I
he was
would even.
abused quite a bit, mentally and probably physically with his grandfather, I would assume. 1800s, you know. People forget how old Lovecraft is. I mean, he died in what, 34? Something like that? From stomach cancer? He died pretty young and pretty early in the 20th century.
And his mother and his aunt, didn't they also die in an asylum? Like
Yep.
they all had like syphilis and stuff.
His dad died of
think-
syphilis.
I think he was probably abused as a child, and I think that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, his mom beat the shit out of him constantly and called him ugly, and he wasn't. That's why his mom actually dressed him up as a girl when he was a baby, because he wasn't presented as a boy. He wasn't presentable enough as a boy. Yeah, and I'm a fan of his writing, but I did a lot of story because I always found what insane man, what went through this insane man's life to make him write like that. So yeah, I did dive heavily into his origins.
Yeah, his wife divorced him, and she said she will never tell anybody their secret.
She ended up moving to San Francisco and opening up a hat shop, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe I based this just on armchair psycho. I think he was a closeted homosexual.
I don't think it was homosexual. I think he was asexual. I think he thought physical contact was disgusting.
Yeah.
I think he was like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Instead of scientific formulas, it was tentacles and quantum physics of fucking old time.
Zach 10's comments are mirroring my facial expressions at the moment.
Yeah. Well, that facial expression is generally what you get when you talk about Lovecraft, right?
Yeah.
Or read it.
And I think a lot of these, all the negative comments about him are unfair.
They're absolutely unfair because most of those negative comments come with no research. They read surface level
Presentism.
information. That's it.
And
Presentism.
You're going to condemn the guy for not being a prophet. He was a man of his time.
Yeah, and he is one of the most prolific horror writers. Him, Poe,
Barker.
Dunskety, and
Barker.
well, that's later on, right? Did you say Barker, right? Like Clive Barker?
I did.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
Clive Barker in the 80s. I'm sorry. The Dimensional Game. Fucking loved it. Hellraiser, but I like Dimensional Game better. And I absolutely prefer the novelization of Cabal more than Nightbreed. Yes, I am a Barker fan too. I've done my homework there. And if you like Lovecraft, check out Brian Dunley. If you're familiar with
I've got enough nightmares as it is, really.
Well, Brian Dunley's he's a modern
anymore.
writer. He's a modern writer, and he writes like one of his stories it's Lovecraft, but it's not written in the style of Lovecraft. It takes place within the universe. One of the stories is about a man whose fears of earthquakes because of his trip to Africa, where there was Chthonians and Doles. So when he moved to New York and New York started getting earthquakes, he would always run to the city where there's concrete, and everyone couldn't figure it out because he knows there's giant worms that live in there. And that's like one of the stories. You know, I'm like, I like that. That's fun shit. And it's like, there's giant worms. Everyone's like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? It's New York. That's a train. That's not a giant worm. And he's trying to tell people there's giant worms, and it's good stuff.
I didn't see any giant worms down in those tunnels.
You didn't dig deep enough. But if you hear any growling and you see fire and smoke, run.
Yep.
Or if you see midgets start running, you follow them. You don't stay.
All right, I'm here now. I'm gonna get going.
Cool.
I'm pretty proud. I only made one wrong turn.
Some person says, hello all. Good timing. High Lord Zart says, Sucker Punch felt very Alice in Wonderland, where Alice Madness returns. Fantasy world that may or may not be real, but is built on the character's trauma.
Yeah.
Congratulations, John, for making it safely.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud. I only made one wrong turn.
That's
well done,
good.
mate.
Yeah.
Nice to talk to you, John. And you too, Arkham. Great to talk. Great to meet you.
Without Google
Nice
Maps.
meeting you, RR.
You know, I never would
Yeah,
have
good
done
to meet you.
without Google Maps, you know?
Oh yeah, the Google Maps savior. Hey, you guys remember back in Yahoo days where you have to print out your map ahead of time before you start driving anywhere?
I do, yeah. I do.
I drove
got lost in Buffalo once for those.
I had my girlfriend. I was like, "What page are we on? Where are we?"
I drove across the country.
Oh, I remember.
With one of those maps, and I lost the page, and I ended up going through whatever fucking desert there is in California, and I had to pull over.
Mojave?
I didn't have enough gas.
Where are you in California?
I lived in Albuquerque at the time, and I was visiting my friend in San Diego.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, probably Mojave
All right, I'm going now. I'm actually parking.
or Death Valley.
Hey, guys,
All right, John.
Hi guys.
keeping me company.
Take care, buddy. All the best. Have a great time.
I'll probably
Tell everybody. You know
now
what,
I got
John?
my
Can you do me a
glasses.
favor
Yeah.
before you let us go? Can you walk in with the phone and say hello, everybody?
Nah, I don't want to make a spectacle.
Nah,
Okay.
that's all right.
But
All the
listen,
best,
I got stuff to carry. I brought some comics and everything like that. I got to put my Hawaiian shirt on. I got to follow
Yeah,
the
and then John would be like the 8th person to have done that tonight.
right. Yeah, I
All right, buddy. You take care, Bess.
this is supposed to be interacting with in person. You know what I mean? I show up.
Yeah.
Hey, look at me! I'm a YouTuber. That's kind of gay, so I don't want to do that. All right. See you
Take care,
guys.
John.
Bye bye.
Glad you made it safe. Bye, chat. Bye, everyone. Bye, Arkham.